6:04 p.m. This meeting is also being carried live on YouTube. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll start off with a roll call. And please verbally indicate you are present when your name is called. Commissioner Kelly?
Present.
Commissioner Parkins?
Present.
Commissioner Ticky?
Present.
Commissioner Motto?
Here.
Alternate Commissioner McGee?
Present.
Commissioner Cristiano?
Present.
Myself, Commissioner Harger, Mr. Rossetti, our administrator,
Present.
Ms. Vernassos, our recording secretary,
Present.
Ms. Charbonneau, our stenographer.
Present.
Okay, a couple points before continuing with this evening's agenda. Mr. Rossetti will act as the Zoom meeting host, while commissioners will be able to make comments throughout the meeting. Chair asks you please identify yourself and wait to be recognized before we're speaking to make sure we're not all speaking over each other. To make sure our recording secretary and stenographer are clear as to who is speaking. Our first agenda item is applications for certificate of zoning compliance. I understand the zoning subcommittee met to review the two sign applications. Commissioner Motto, what's the recommendation of the zoning subcommittee for the first one, the Goddard School at 801 Bridgeport Avenue?
Is that going to get pulled up for everybody or no?
Yep, I'm pulling it up.
Yep. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had no objection to this. It meets the size requirements and it's pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
It's got overhead lighting. It's not lit from within.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody from the applicant in the wait room, Mr. Rossetti?
I believe there is. Ashleigh Andrews is coming in.
Okay, I just had a quick question on sheet A2. If the figure at the top center could be explained what that is?
For the AC unit, isn't it?
I'm
Up
not
here?
sure. It says 2D mock-up panel. See architectural drawings for heights, materials, finishes and detailing, and there's another paragraph. I just that.
Oh, here.
What is that?
Oh,
So if the representative from the sign company is present, you could identify yourself for the record and just answer that question.
Okay.
Ashley, you're on mute. There you go.
Hi,
Go ahead, Ashley.
my name is Ashleigh Andrews. I am representing the Goddard School. That I honestly don't know what that is.
Okay, so you're not from the sign company itself. Okay.
I
just-
have some other representatives. If you give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, I think Dominic,
This
you
is
should
Attorney
be.
Dominic Thomas, that, what you're looking at, the sign company used the approved, I believe, the approved architecturals, that's, I think, part of the architectural plans that were approved, I would assume.
Yeah, I
It has
was looking on other pages.
fine.
I just didn't see that matching up to something. It didn't look like it was the dog houses on the top or anything. So that's I'm just curious as
Well,
to what that is.
yeah, if it isn't part of the approved architectural plan, it's not gonna be built unless it's modified. I don't know what sheet they were given to put their sign on, but
Mhm.
what I'm saying to you is there was an approved architectural plan.
Right.
And that's what they're gonna have, that's what they're gonna build. I think this is just for the sign that is going over the entrance.
Entrance, that's right. Okay. All right, any questions for Commissioner Amato?
Are they planning perhaps to put another sign up on that triangular area? Because this looks like a sign sheet.
Well, the only sign that was presented to us is the one sign over the main door, the Goddard School. That's the only sign that,
That's the
Mhm.
only sign that they show a rendering for, but this particular thing that we're looking at right now has signage information on the right-hand side.
All right, sign back or diagram, sign lettering diagram.
I think the sign information on the right-hand side relates to the sign that they've shown. It's not.
Could you
another
scroll
email
up,
where it says that-
could you scroll up a little bit on that? No, the other
I
way,
can't-
the other way.
I think that's
Okay,
illustrated.
it's all part of one sheet. Okay.
Yep. So, okay, any other concerns?
This is Dave Gooding. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I can answer that question.
Sure, sir, state your name again, please, for the record.
I'm Dave Gooding with Fountain Square.
Oh, okay,
You're the landlord. What you're looking at has nothing to do with the signage. That's actually a dormer. There's 3 dormers on the original architectural plans on each side of the building. So
Mhm.
if you're looking at the elevation, you'll see on the right and the left side on the roof line, those
Okay,
sticking out. Those are dormers.
okay,
But-
yeah, that's what I saw. It just didn't look like the design was the same. That's why I just.
Yeah,
It's
pointed it-
it's not,
Hung up.
that's different, Dave. You know,
It looks like there's a stone base there.
yeah, stone base and a different, the dormers are called out on a different sheet,
Mhm.
5A4.
Yeah, then I'd have no idea where that is recommended for placement.
Okay, well, we can definitely make it, a motion to approve on just what is shown on the, sketch
Front.
number 4824, which is the first page of this set of drawings. And not including any other page, which does not reference, the sign over the doorway. Okay, any other questions for Commissioner Amato? Any other concerns for the commissioners? Okay, is there, anyone who wants to make a motion on this sign application?
Commissioner Tiki will motion for approval.
Okay, is there a second?
Commissioner
Commissioner
Christian.
go ahead.
Okay, all right, so there's a motion to approve from Commissioner Tiki, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye,
All right,
Any opposed? Let the record show that the vote was 6-0, with no commissioner voting nay and no commissioner abstaining. Okay, Commissioner Amato, what's the recommendation of the zoning subcommittee for the next application, which is an exterior directional sign for the tenants at 917 Bridgeport Avenue, where extra space storage is adding on to the building?
yeah. Yeah, if I remember this correctly, I think this sign, where is it? Approved monument sign. Now I don't remember where this is placed.
After you enter the property, it's a
It's
directional.
on Avalon Drive, because it says it's approved. Oh, there, okay, that's where it is, okay. Yeah, we had no objection to this. It's seems to make sense for people figuring out where they're going here. So-
right, it's the directional sign,
It's the one on Avalon Drive.
correct.
Oh, okay, because
No,
that
it was-
says it's approved, so that's not approved yet.
Wow.
Or
Is there another sign there?
was there a different sign there?
Parcel
We had
sign?
a lot of discussion about this, and now I can't remember how this worked.
Mr. Rossetti, do you have any information for us? Is there anybody from the applicant here?
I'm looking online quickly. Let me see.
This is Attorney Thomas again. I can answer the question. The monument sign was approved at a previous meeting. This
Mhm.
sign was not approved at the previous meeting. It had
Okay,
to come back before the commission. It was a directional sign, as Commissioner Parkins said, off of Avalon Drive. So that when people enter the driveway off of Avalon Drive, they would know which way to turn, the arrows to go to the adult daycare or to go to the child daycare, or to go the other way to the Office of Extra Space. The monument sign went through a few iterations and was finally reduced to the size that you wanted and was improved. Unfortunately, I don't have
no, I
it in
remember
front of
the
me right
monument
now. I think it
sign.
was a few months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that confused me here is that it says it's approved
Mhm.
there
Well,
and then,
yeah, I think the location was approved.
Mhm.
Back
Oh, okay.
then, the
All right.
understanding was we were gonna put another sign there, but they didn't have the sign
oh, okay,
at
okay,
that
yeah,
point.
right,
So
yeah.
there was decided that that would be the appropriate place for the directional sign to go.
Mhm. Is this supposed to be parallel to Bridgeport Avenue, Attorney Thomas? Or is it at a angle? Because,
Now,
the arrows.
now you're getting beyond my expertise. I have no idea. It looks to me, because I would assume
It's
it
before
would have
there.
a slight, yeah.
It's before
a
there.
slight-
So where that tree is. Mr. Rossetti? Okay,
So as people pull into Avalon, there's an entrance to the extended stay on the left.
right.
On the opposite side is the entryway, and that's where they're showing it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you pull into Avalon, there's the entrance into the extended stay.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the entrance area into that location.
Parking lot, right. It's just that if you go back to the signs, I was saying, which way is it facing? If this is parallel to Bridgeport Avenue, that sign for extra space storage office is pointing.
So
I think.
it's
wrong
gonna have to
direction.
point to
This
to
to
the
right.
actual direction. So
Yeah,
for this place, it's gonna point to the left. For piece of the puzzles, it's gonna point. Yeah, they're not gonna point it backwards.
I think those arrows need to be readdressed or the location clarified. So if the commission is satisfied with the design of it, we can certainly approve it and with the contingency that staff review it to make sure that the location is appropriate.
Well, I'm sure that the client wants to make sure that the arrows are appropriate as
Going in the
well.
right way, sure.
Yeah, it's just, is it parallel to Avalon or is it parallel to Bridgeport Avenue? So,
Yeah,
Well, it shows a driveway right off to the right on
Mhm.
Avalon Drive. See the driveway?
yeah, the gray line. It
Yeah.
just doesn't give the orientation, that's all. So,
So it looks like you would go into that little driveway and you would go right to go to the CRI through the front of the building, I guess, and then to
Uh-huh.
the left, you would go into the back of the place for the storage. I
right,
don't know where your office is, but
yeah, but just make sure that the
Okay.
tenant, the landlord knows which way that this is facing, so it's appropriate. So, any other questions about this particular sign application? Is there a motion for this particular application?
Commissioner Parkins will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Perkins. Is there a second?
Commissioner
Commissioner Christina will
Otto
second
will-
it.
go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Commissioner.
Bob.
So there's a motion to approve from Commissioner Parkins, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let the record show that the vote was 6-0 with no commissioners voting nay and no commissioners abstaining. Okay, next on the agenda is new business, and the first item is application 2411, PDD number 106, S&G of Shelton LLC at 301 Old Bridgeport Avenue, Assessors Map 91, Lot 17 on 1.91 acres for final detailed development plans for a 3.5-story residential building with 39 apartments and 76 parking spaces with 5 affordable units. Is there a motion to accept for review?
Commissioner Kelly will make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
A second, Commissioner Maddow.
Okay, thank you. On a roll call for the motion to accept for review made by Commissioner Kelly, second by Commissioner Motto. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Motion is passed by vote of 6-0. Is the applicant present?
Yes, I'm representing the applicant, Pat
Okay,
Rose.
please.
Rose
Go
Teasel.
ahead.
How are you?
Go ahead, Mr. Rose.
Okay. Yeah, what we have submitted for are the final detailed development plans for 301 Bridgeport Avenue. The 39 residential units that have been approved with 5 affordable units as part of that. There have been some changes made to the site plan, which was reflective of the approval letter. Alex, if you could possibly put up the site plans, I could go through those quickly.
Yep.
And that was the approval of the initial development plans.
Initial development plans, correct.
I'm gonna start with the colored site plan that was.
No,
most
you don't need to show, you don't need to show
Okay.
that. Let's
Yep.
go with the regular site plans. Great. So a couple things that we've added to the site are there are 8 parking spaces that are serviced by EV chargers on the left-hand parking lot. There's 4 EV symbols there, which you'll see, which service 8 parking spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then along the parking that's underneath the building, those 4 spaces that are underneath the building, as it is by the front entrance, we put a planting area to put some shrubs, and then we put a screen wall to screen off the car from view from Sunwood Drive. That's pretty. And then we've changed all the details on the site so that we have extruded concrete curb shown, no asphalt curb is shown. And we have put in a detail of the dumpster enclosure that will be enclosed by masonry dumpster enclosure. That's been included in the details. And let's really keep going. Yeah, we've added a lighting plan, which you just went by. There's a lighting plan which wasn't provided before. Now we have a lighting plan which shows that we're not spreading light off of our site.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go, here's on the right-hand side is the masonry dumpster enclosure. And then we provided a detail, I think it's on the next sheet, for the masonry gravity retaining wall, which shows how we're putting a guardrail into it. It's in the middle, yeah, in the middle of the sheet. Yep, just went past it. Go up. There you go. Right in the middle of the sheet. Unreinforced retaining wall with the guardrail. And then the other one next to it is the unreinforced masonry wall with a handrail or fence. So those are details that were requested or we provided for that. The only other thing that we've been asked to do is there was a question on the 6 tandem spaces. If you could go
Mhm.
back to SP1, Alex, possibly. We had shown previously tandem spaces. There are 6 tandem spaces here. And it was a request as to whether we can make those 6 spaces, the second spaces, deferred parking spaces. The owner would like to build those spaces currently and include them as part of the project. There is no extra grading that's required for them. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's just that you're going to be putting the same process base where you're gonna put asphalt instead of, topsoil and grass or,
Mhm,
so that's what we'd like to keep those 6 tandem spaces.
mhm.
And I believe we have enough parking. I've had to make a couple little changes to the statement of uses and standards to reflect the parking and how the parking was calculated. That we have 25 one-bedroom units, which we're showing at 1.5 spaces per unit for 37.5, and then 14 studio units at 1.25 spaces per unit, which is 17.5. And then we've shown visitor spaces, which are half of the 39 spaces. So altogether, that comes out to 75 spaces required, and we've provided 76.
Mhm.
So we made some minor changes with the parking to reflect what we're doing. What we've got currently is that the inland wetlands has approved this project, so that's done. The WPCA approval has been submitted for, but it has not been acted on yet by the WPCA at this point.
Okay, just getting back to the parking. Are there gonna be assigned spaces?
There will be assigned spaces for each one of the units, yes.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, any questions from the commission for the applicant?
Is there a landscaping plan?
There is a landscaping plan that hasn't really been revised from our original initial development plan.
Okay, as long as
Okay.
Commissioner Motto is happy with it.
If Commissioner
I think
Amato
I
has any
was.
comments associated, I'd be happy to entertain them and make those changes.
Yeah, the last,
Thanks,
submission
Ruth.
was actually June 30th of 2024. That can't be right. It's gotta be May. And then, it's on sheet SP5. There's a whole chart at the bottom of the planting schedule and the different varieties.
Good look.
Yeah, there you go.
Cholesterol, like those. PJM roadies, no. I'm not sure about that last rhododendron.
PJM, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the last rhododendron and the PJMs, no.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Is there anything else anybody would like to point out or question?
No, the building itself really hasn't changed. The layout of the building is the same. The facade of the building, materials are being used are the same as what we had initially proposed, other than some minor changes to the gables where we changed material. But it's really.
What are the minor changes to the gables? What are you referring to?
Change the material in the gables at one time. It was previously regular siding and has been changed to shingles.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Better material on top, actually.
Hmm. Okay. Any other questions for the applicant? Mr. Rossetti, you have any information that you want to share with us?
The only outstanding question that I have from the resolution, so again, was blasting. I know there's a lot of discussion about blasting during the initial hearings. Pat, if you could comment on the on-site conditions and need for blasting, that was I just over and over again in my notes. People requesting a blasting plan and what the deal was with that. And I'll let Pat answer that, but just for the commission to know, they spend quite a bit of time looking at the mailroom and garbage location and deferred parking, and the lighting plan, et cetera. So it's nice to see all those changes incorporated, but the blasting was just the last thing on my list.
Yeah, and I'll let Ben may have to be able to weigh in on the site itself if there's blasting required. If there's blasting, it's going to be minimal. You know, it could be where there is the basement location. There really isn't going to be any blasting closer to Sunwood because we've revised the grading and there's, you know, not that much excavation over there as there previously was on some of our plans. And it would all be done based on, you know, the fire marshal and making notification to the neighbors, insurance associated with it.
Mhm. Okay, Mr. Perry, did you have any comments?
Ben Perry, 80 Perry Hill Road, Shelton, Connecticut. I think it just mirrors what Pat had brought up earlier. I know to the left at the Blakeman property, there was minimal blasting over there. I don't know if it's minimal, but there was some blasting to the left. We did some test pits up there now as we're in the process of taking the trees down, but we haven't run into anything. Not to say that we will not run into anything as far as blasting, but as Pat had said, it will be overlooked by the fire marshal.
Mhm. Okay,
And just one final note on that. I know we often hear residents raise concerns about blasting, and then they are of some value. But our office receives 10 times more calls in volume about jackhammering than we do blasting.
Yeah.
Blasting, when it happens, we get some calls, but when you have an industrial jackhammer attached to a excavator going away for 2 months at a time, everybody and their mother calls every day. When's it gonna stop?
Well, it's an active, it's going to be an active construction site permitted. It's just the nature of the
Yeah.
beast. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. We'll do our best to try to keep it to a minimal. With that being said, if you have anything else you'd like to add to it, I'd be more than happy to, listen to what you have to say. So,
Yeah, it's not a critique, Bennett, just a comment for the commission that blasting
no, I
isn't
agree.
as bad as you're between a rock and a hard place.
yeah, no, I get it. And I understand.
Just make sure they stay within the hours of the zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've spoken to the president of the board probably twice in the past. And he has reached out to me as well, and I try to stay in touch with him just to make sure everybody's a good neighbor.
Good idea.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, I think the hours are what, 7? Can't,
Yeah, 7 to
7 to 7 or something like that.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, just make sure you stay within that because otherwise the police will be visiting you.
No, absolutely. I agree 100%.
and the time of year too makes a difference once.
Everybody's got their windows open. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, all right, how is the commission like to proceed with this application?
Does require a vote? I don't know what we
Mhm.
normally do with final plans.
Yeah, if the commission feels that they're ready to act on this particular proposal, staff did prepare something that they could present to us this evening. So whether,
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's anything else we're looking for.
Right.
right,
Mr.
All right.
Fitzgerald, I think we should move forward on approval. I followed this project when I was on the Inland Wetlands Commission, and
Mhm.
the neighboring property was appeared to be fast-tracked through the process, through wetlands and through this board also.
Mhm.
And for some reason, this was held up, so I don't see any other reason why this project shouldn't get finished up now.
Okay,
I also agree with that.
thank you, Commissioners Kelly and Cristiano. So Mr. Rossetti, do you have something for us, or is we just a straight vote now?
No, if the commission would like to take a vote, that's fine.
All right, so is there any commissioner who wants to make a motion on this particular application?
Commissioner Kelly, I'll make a motion that we give it a favorable resolution.
Motion, is that a motion to approve?
Yes,
Final site plan, approval of the
Yes,
final
right.
site
Final
plan.
site development plans, okay. Is there a
correct.
second? on that motion from Commissioner Kelly?
Commissioner Christine, I'll second that.
Okay, so there's a motion to approve the final site development plans from Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. And on a roll call, Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is Dominic Thomas for 740 River Road LLC at 740 River Road, Assessors Map 21, Lot 50, to establish a PDD and approve initial development plans for 40 side-by-side residential condominiums and on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review and for staff to set a public hearing?
Commissioner Parkins will make
Commissioner
that
Kelly will
motion.
make that.
Okay.
Commissioner Kelly will second it.
Okay, very good. So on the motion to accept for review for staff to set a public hearing made by Commissioner Parkins, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. And this application will be on the agenda in an upcoming meeting for a public hearing. Okay, next, application 2413, Dominic, PDD number 91, Dominic Thomas for Fountain Square LLC and FS Shelton LLC at 745, 795 Bridgeport Avenue. Assessors map 28 lots 18 for a minor modification to add a patio to the 2,500 square foot building to be occupied by Kava and screened outdoor coolers in the rear of the Retail 1 building for use by Asian Bistro Restaurant. Is there a motion to accept for review?
I'll make the motion to accept for review. Commissioner Motto.
Thank you. Is there-
Commissioner Kelly will second it.
Okay, so on that motion to accept for review made by Commissioner Motto, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. Is the applicant present?
Yes, Attorney Dominic Thomas,
Okay,
from Cohen and Thomas, representing the applicant, 315 Main Street, Derby,
Uh,
Connecticut, representing the applicant.
okay, Attorney Thomas, I don't know if you could explain why the two items were together as one application. They're pretty much two distinctly different kind of proposals. So,
Well, they're both, the reason I did that is they're both minor modifications to the PDD rather than as separate applications. In fact, I had originally assumed that the coolers would be simply approved administratively, since you have already set a precedent with the marketplace, to
Right.
appropriately do them. And the commission has the opportunity to approve one portion of it and continue the other portion of it. They are on a single site plan, not on separate site plans, because when we have to submit a site plan for you. And I thought the issue of the coolers was a very simple
Right.
matter, and I just rather than, I suppose the other application could be, rather than two $560 application fees, I saved my clients $560.
very good. Okay, then why don't, I am familiar, I remember very clearly the application for the coolers behind the, at the marketplace. Why don't you start with that portion of it then?
Okay, I will. And in fact, what I did, can I share screen, Alex?
Yep.
Okay, what I actually did, if you can see my screen, just to give you an idea of what I was talking about, this is a picture, a very recent picture, I believe, or relatively recent, of the coolers behind what is now called Maddow.
Mhm.
I forget what the name was when they were originally opened.
Bara.
And right, Mara, correct.
Bara.
And the Bara. Right. And the
Fair.
coolers are there and they're screened. And just get to the Cava, get to the site plan here, which I did, and I actually blew it up so that you can see. So that the coolers would be located in this location at the end of retail one, the large retail building, and it will be screened appropriately. So again, we modeled it after a prior approval, and hopefully this is successful because and approved because Asian Bistro wants needs these coolers to proceed forward.
Are they
And I know
taking
that-
parking places? Are they taking
Um,
up parking places? That were
I'd have
approved?
I'd have to refer to Dave Gunier or Pat Rose to answer that. I will tell you that in the parking chart, the site for the commercial and everything is parked greater than the required parking without even taking into account shared parking.
Hi, this is Dave Gunya, if you can hear me. They're not taking parking spaces. In fact, behind the rear of that 785 building, we added parking during the last site plan submission.
It was just open space, vacant space? There was no-
There's a large loading area that was back there that was proposed, and we converted the loading area into parking spaces.
You converted the loading area into parking spaces, and now you're converting the parking spaces into this.
Well, that particular area, there was no parking spaces proposed. There was a partial loading area at one time. And this is going back, I believe this patio or the cooler area was on a prior site plan submission several months back, and I don't recall exactly when.
If this is a modification to an existing site plan, then I think there should be some idea of what was there before.
Absolutely.
Well, I think what Dave said is there was a loading area there before. So the loading area is replaced now with the two coolers.
No, he said there was parking first.
No, not at
No.
that end of the building. There's a loading area at that end of the building. And it extended further back into the 785 building. A large majority of that, the rear of that building was a loading area at one point.
Yeah, the loading area extended a larger portion of it, what it's saying here. Parking, so parking replaced it here and the coolers replaced it here, the loading area.
Yeah,
So there's no loading area anymore?
No, we had had previously proposed a grocer in that building at one point, and we got when we got the use approved, and most of the back of that entire space was loading area, no parking. So
Okay, so where are the deliveries going to be made to this restaurant now if there's no loading area?
they don't need one. The loading trucks will pull up just like every other tenant in the back of the building. They'll pull up, they'll unload quickly and move on.
Where is the doorway that they'll go in?
There's 3 doors in the back of the restaurant. So there's a door to, if you're looking at the back of the building, you're looking at the 2 coolers. There's a door immediately to the right of the second cooler, in between where the first parking space is. And any deliveries will be conducted during off business hours.
Okay, so I would assume that that's all going to be monitored to make sure that we don't have a delivery man feels that he could cut corners and just pull up in front. So
It would be monitored by the tenant.
okay. Attorney Thomas, if you can, whoever has control of the screen, if you can just enlarge that site plan again. That patio area, I don't remember that ever being on a site plan before. What's that all about? Is that a function of the new Asian Bistro going in?
I believe it was on a prior site plan. I'd have to check. It was not part of the application. I think it was on for the it was on a prior site plan when we had Asian Bistro at that end of the building, but I'd have to check. I couldn't answer that offhand.
This is Dave Gooden again. I can assure you the patio area was on the prior site plan.
Mm-hmm.
Sure exactly how far back it goes, but this tenant was proposed, for the last 3 years, I believe. And there's been a patio shown on the plans from as far back as I can recall.
Okay, it's just a little difficult to see the progression of things when we only have the most recent one. So that's why I was bringing it up. Any commissioners have any questions for the applicant for just the coolers?
Well, if not for the coolers, but again, for the patio area, you've got parking places right there. So how are the people that are sitting on the patio going to be protected against that? Are there going to be bollards? Because I don't see any on the site plan.
There would be bollards placed at the front edge of each of those parking spaces.
Okay, well, it's obviously not shown on the site plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
is there screening?
We
Is there
can-
fencing? What is it?
There's the patio area would be enclosed is what the tenant's proposing.
Mhm.
And there would be shrubs placed in between the edge of the enclosure and the parking area. And there is a low height retaining wall there. And there would be bollards placed in front of each of those spaces.
Mhm.
What kind of enclosure? Like an wrought iron gate? Chain link?
it-
What? They're
Proposing a fully glass enclosed patio area.
So the wall
glass
would be
enclosed.
glass and then there would be a roof overhead? Is that?
Fully enclosed glass. If there's a specific glass material they have that's tempered and it would be attached to the building.
Okay,
I'd like to see a rendering of that, or at least an example.
yeah.
I say, how is that a patio and not just a bigger room?
Mhm.
It's fully enclosed. I don't get it.
I'm a little concerned that I was not on the commission at the time that this plan was approved, but I believe you just said that it was a grocer that was planned to be here, so I don't think the original
No.
drawings would have shown patios or restaurants.
No, the grocer the grocer plan that Dave is referring to was presented to the commission in November and December of 2022.
Mhm.
And at that point, the commission amended the statement of uses and standards to allow a grocer no larger than 15,000 square feet, and stated that if it went at the end of retail one, at this end of retail one, all that would be needed at that point would be a minor modification actually of the site plan. However, if the grocer was to be a standalone building, which was another option at that time, that
Mhm.
needed an amendment to obviously needed an amendment to the initial concept plan. Originally, at the original proposal, this was part of a building that was designated for retail, restaurant, and other uses. There's a restaurant obviously at the other end that you dealt with in Mercado. And certainly if you want an elevation or an evidence of the materials, we can present that to you. We can get it from the tenant and present it to you. It is not, again, not part of this application. If you want that information, we can get it to you. The important thing, here, the reason we did it is we need to get the coolers approved for that.
Well, that's not part of the other application. The patio is part of the application, right?
No, the patio is not
Yeah.
part of this application, but the point is that is such a unique structure. I am sure that all of us that were on the commission would have remembered seeing it. but we
Exactly.
wanna give it
Right.
rendering. So I just wanted to
I
ask
have
the
no-
applicant to just get that rendering ready so that we can confirm.
We
Yeah.
should have like a detail of that
Yeah,
patio area.
Absolutely. Yeah.
what I want to be clear is, I think the area showing a patio alongside a restaurant has been shown. The actual patio, no, I do not believe you were ever shown the actual patio. That's why I said we can
Mhm.
certainly have the applicant provide us with the detail and file another minor modification application or whatever you desire for the commission to review it.
That'd be great.
Okay.
All right,
That
so
would be
let's get
good.
back to the coolers. Is there any commissioner that has any questions for the applicant about the coolers?
What are the height of the coolers? Are they walk-in coolers? Yeah.
They're walk-in coolers and they're 8 feet tall,
And the length
20 feet
each?
each.
So that's 40 feet. Okay.
Okay.
And they're white.
And they're white, but they're going to be covered by shrubbery?
Correct.
Surrounded by shrubbery,
native
that's what those
shrubs.
circles are. The circles are the shrubs.
There's many shrubs.
No,
in
I know that, but
all the spaces, all the surface area.
Yeah, so you access these coolers from the inside of the building.
Correct.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, so there's no access from the outside.
No,
Why do they need two huge coolers like that?
Meat and food storage. They need all of the space on the interior of the building to accommodate their kitchen, eating areas, sushi bar, all the things that they're proposing. There's just not enough room. They actually wanted more space, and unfortunately, we didn't have any more internal space large enough to give them. We already had commitments with the liquor store, Fountain Square Wine and Spirits, and this was the only option for them.
mhm. Okay, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, so now, Attorney Thomas, about Kava. Again, this
Okay.
is a pretty unique, building, and, until I saw the documents that were uploaded to the city's website very recently, I don't recall ever seeing this, building before.
Well, right, we haven't seen the Cava building. The Cava building is, that's why we're before you with the modification. This building, the 2,500 square foot building has been approved and in the approved site plan since day one. Originally, it was scheduled to be and listed as a possible proposed coffee house.
Right,
And to give you some background, at the time, and I believe it was Commissioner Ticky, thought that this would also be an appropriate location for some sort of, whatever you want to call it, a pocket park, interior pocket park. So this area you see behind it in the blown up site plan, and you can see it in the overall site plan, this area here along the main thing remains a park and is going to be developed just as it was when this was a coffee shop. I do believe after Panera decided to come in, that sort of eliminated the ability to do a coffee shop because Panera has an exclusion in their lease.
Mhm.
So after several, shall we say, fits and starts with this building, Kava, and I'll leave it up to Dave to explain to you more what it is. Kava proposed that they wanted to come in, and originally when I filed, the only thing I had was their prototype, which I uploaded, and then pursuant, I think through the request of the the chairman through staff, I was asked to obtain renderings, and they provided me with 4 renderings showing the location of the on the Kava building, showing the location of the proposed patio. The building is the 2,500 square foot footprint, and this showed, these are the sent to me, that's looking at it from the rear, and looking at it obviously closer up to the side. So again, it's the building is in the exact location as approved in the original. I believe it's in the exact location as approved, the 25 square foot building in the north end of the parking lot, and the location of the patio and the things. And with that, I can turn it over to Dave to explain to you a little more about Kava.
Attorney Thomas, I just want to clarify, I definitely remember this particular location as being designated for another freestanding building. Yes, the original intent might have been for a coffee shop, but I can understand how, as time goes on, things change. And I do understand the
Yeah.
Panera Bread restriction. It's, and I do remember very clearly discussions about an outdoor public space for people to sit. So I have no issues with that. The issue I have is that the agenda calls this as a minor modification to add a patio to a building that we never saw a rendering for. So I think you're
Well,
putting the cart before the
Yeah.
horse.
Well, honestly, I don't understand that. We've added patios before in many other PDDs.
I don't have a problem with the patio. My issue is we are being asked to add a patio to a building that we've never seen before. We've never been given any kind of drawings for this building now that now that we're at that time. You know, this was always on paper as this was the vision. This particular site was going to have a building, but we've never seen a building until now for us to discuss the exterior treatment of it.
Yeah, well, that's why I made the application, and there can be discussions, and if you needed to continue that portion of this application, or if you wanted further detail of it, but the applicant, the CAVA would still have to come in, obviously, with certificate of zoning compliance for its business and any signs that it wanted to do. I don't want you to think that the signs are part of this application. The application was to allow a patio to be on this building. The request was made for a rendering. And so at that point, we submitted the rendering. The building is exactly the same square footage and size as the building that was approved. If the commission has any comments with respect to what the materials are, I'm not sure if Pat Rose is still on. I believe he can answer it, but certainly, yes, you can request that you get more detail for it going forward. It's a tenant that has come on the scene and is anxious to move forward. And obviously, my clients think it's a tremendous benefit to the center. I think it's a Mediterranean food emphasis, but Dave could explain it further. And if Dave, you want to comment as to the building or anything?
It goes on, Attorney Thomas, the progression of things is backwards. We're being asked to approve a patio on a site, and here's a building rendering. We have never gotten any kind of application for this particular building, and that is what you need to do.
Well,
this has to be on
you have received an application and
for this
approved
particular building.
final site development plan for yes, there was in part of phase one. It was part of phase 1 and phase 2, but it had elevations on it too. So the elevations.
That tenant wasn't even known at the time. How could we have approved something?
Right. We're in before to get the patio approved.
Yes, that's fine. But I'm just asking you to make sure that you have your tenant file the appropriate paperwork so that we can discuss the exterior treatment of this particular building. Okay?
It isn't the tenant's paperwork is when it applies for a certificate of zoning compliance. At this point, and if you would let Dave Goodyear talk, I think he might be able to explain a little more about the building and who's going to construct it. If you want more information, we can certainly provide that.
Can I just say,
like it belongs in a desert.
This looks so different than anything else in that development.
It does. It looks like it belongs in a desert in Arizona.
Yep.
The patio is tiny, and I believe we have to allow patios on restaurants, which is fine, but the appearance
I'm all impressed by this particular
very unusual, let's say.
Absolutely. No. Commissioner Mato, you had a couple comments. Commissioner Parkins, you had said something?
Yeah, I said it looks like it belongs in the desert and it's Arizona.
Okay. All right, so does the commission want to have the applicant go over the patio portion of this with the intent that the actual building design is going to be submitted separately for us to discuss and take action on?
Why would we do that? Why would we approve a patio for a building we haven't approved yet? Architecture.
That's my point.
Architecturally, we haven't approved it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So,
Just, yeah, so there's an approved building there, but I think we would all think that the building would look like the other buildings.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. And if
But
not, it's kind of,
Yeah, let's not forget, this is a PDD.
that's right.
Yeah, it was mentioned earlier. I think my name was mentioned. I actually worked a lot with Tony Pagoda at the commission at the time because it was the understanding that it would be a cafe, coffee shop. And we thought because it was such a vast development at that time with so much pavement that if it was a coffee shop, it really would benefit from having a little pocket park where people could actually enjoy. So I understand the situation with Panera Bread now, but there still should be a look and feel of what all the buildings look like and what the design plan is for the whole PDD. And this really is something very different than what we're seeing built out at this location.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Is there a drive-through in this or no?
No,
No,
Okay.
no.
Hopefully that won't change either. No, there will be a drive-through.
no, that
One
doesn't,
never knows.
they,
there's
the
no room
original
there.
rendering, that they sent to me when the application was needed, actually showed a building that they've had in a different location, which did have a drive-through and a patio on the other side, which is why when when the request came in for the other, I asked for the detail of the building that I was told the building that they proposed, and this is what I received. I did have brief conversation with them about there potentially very well could be requirements with respect to the building to add other shall we say, materials on the outside of the building.
Mhm. Exactly.
But certainly I can, we can come, again, I would hope that you would approve the cooler so Asian Bistro could get going. And if your request is you want to see, in addition to the site plan, you want to see an elevation with proposed materials and everything of the building and the site plan, we can provide that for you for the next meeting possibly, or if not the next meeting, the meeting in July.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I don't know I'm not quite sure why they were all jumped together because they're two different entities, two different buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They're both on the same site plan. That was the,
Yeah, but they're supposed,
We-
they may be, but they're different. There's a new
we
building.
have filed, I have filed modifications to site plan that address multiple buildings within the PDD before.
Uh-huh.
If the situation is that you want further information on this portion of the application, or if you want, I did it because I've done it before, and the commission has, acted on multiple portions of a PDD site plan. But if you want, again, you can request further information. You have the ability to approve a portion of it. If the commission is so concerned about it procedurally, then I can withdraw the application for Kava and let the tenant know that we've had to withdraw it and just go forward with the patio area. With the coolers, and then we'll come back in with another application, or you can ask for further information on this application.
Okay, Attorney Thomas, I think the consensus of the commission is that we are ready to go ahead with the portion for Asian Bistro, the coolers. But I believe the other portion with Kava needs to be tabled until we get more specific information. And one of the things that if I could ask that you pass along for an answer is, because of the patio, it's a public sitting area. Whose responsibility will it be to maintain in the area? Is it going to be the developers, or is
The patio will be maintained by the restaurant. The park area will be maintained, which will be outside of the leased area, will be maintained by the developer, property owner.
Okay, so make sure that on any further plans that come in, that you've got those two areas designated. I can't tell right now from looking at what's up on the screen.
Well, usually these plans do not designate leased areas. Leased areas are governed by the lease with the tenant. So for example, you have no we've never submitted a sign which show, a plan which shows the leased area for either Panera or Chick-fil-A. Those are requirements within the lease. And so the leased area for Cava will be, as is with all other buildings, in any PDD is governed, and what they have to maintain is governed by that. Anything outside of it, especially the park and the public walkways and everything, it has to be maintained by the tenant, unless, by the landlord, property owner, unless it's something that is specifically put into a lease.
Yeah, I'm just asking for clarification just for staff's use, if some questions should come up in the future. So if
Well, you got a so you're saying that that's a public sidewalk that's surrounding the building and the park area, but yet Cava's
No.
got their overhang?
Okay. This sidewalk, all these sidewalks, the public can go on.
Right.
More than likely, and I'm not writing up the lease, more than likely, the sidewalk area that goes around the building is going to be part of their leased area. That doesn't mean the public can walk on it. The leased area relates to who is going to maintain it. It may very well be the landlord also in the lease. That depends on what's in the lease. But yes, sidewalks, there's no prohibition. There's no sign here that says public cannot go. The public can walk on all of these. The question of who's going to maintain it is a lease issue with the tenant.
Right.
Okay.
And there's going to be a fireplace on the patio as well?
A fire pit?
It says it right on the drawing.
Does?
Yep, go back to the drawing. It says it right there, fireplace. At least that's how I read it.
This drawing?
Yeah, go to the right. See the words
Oh, I see.
fireplace?
Fireplace, yes, I see that. I'll certainly get an answer for you on that. It doesn't show a fireplace in the renderings that I was sent.
Yeah.
Too many questions on this one.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
we've got a little bit more work to do on the Cava one. So any further comments, questions or concerns for the coolers?
No, I don't have any.
And by the way, uploaded, there was, and the exhibits anymore from Rose Tizo, I don't know if Pat's on, there was elevations of the Cava building with the measurements on them based on what they had sent, but we will have more detailed, obviously, per your request, we will have more detailed
Thank you,
elevations.
Attorney Thomas.
Or something different.
Commissioner Mata, did you have a question?
I was gonna say more details or something different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sure they will incorporate your comments into what they're
Good.
gonna respond.
Mr. Rossetti, do you have any comments for us that you want to share with us about the coolers?
No, I think the applicants already addressed what they're for.
Okay,
Well, I'm glad they at least came back for that, for the coolers. They obviously didn't come back for the patio though. So I'm a little annoyed, might be a little strong, but not happy with that fact.
Madam Chair, this is Commissioner Cristiano.
go ahead.
Not knowing the answer to this, when does a patio not become a patio when it's enclosed and sealed with a roof and walls?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Is
And
there-
that's
is there a ruling on that?
that's the concern, is that it's identified on the site plan as a patio, but the description was a fully enclosed building, so it would make much more sense and for this to be shown on elevations and more details. So.
And safety for the people that are be sitting in there if there's cars parked right next to it.
Right,
mhm.
yeah, there's a little bit more detail we need from the applicant. All right, so if there isn't any more comments on the coolers, is there a motion that someone would care to make on that particular portion of application 2413?
I'll make a motion to approve the coolers.
Okay, there's a motion to approve the coolers from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
I'll second, just so we
Okay.
can move it along, yeah.
Okay, there's
Yeah,
a second from Commissioner Motto. So just to clarify, this is just a motion to approve
Just for the coolers, yeah.
that would be positioned as shown on the site plan behind the Asian Bistro restaurant. So on a roll call, Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion has passed by a vote of 6-0. So we will expect to see all the detail from regarding the other portion, application 2413, on an upcoming agenda.
As well as the patio,
Yes. Everything that they
before it's built.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a public hearing, and I just want to quickly go through protocol for this. Mr. Rossetti will indicate if any written comments were received from the public no later than 24 hours before the start of this evening's meeting. If they were received, they will be read into the record. The applicant and its associates will make their presentation. The commission can ask questions during the presentation or at its conclusion. The applicant and her associates can answer those questions at the time they're presented or at the conclusion of the presentation. At the point in each public hearing where the chair asks for public comment, those members of the public participating remotely via Zoom will be asked to use Zoom's raise your hand feature. And those members of the public participating via phone will be recognized after dialing *9. Public will then be recognized to comment on the application, beginning with elected officials of the city, followed by residents. After you are recognized, please state and spell your name and state your address to assist the recording secretary and the stenographer when doing the minutes and transcript of the public hearing. Each speaker has 5 minutes to present comments, which should address specific criteria of the zoning regulations, the merits of the application being new information, not a repeat of comments previously presented. If the public hearing is a continuation, public comments are restricted to new materials submitted by the applicant after the continuation of the previous public hearing. Comments and questions should be directed to the commission, not to the applicant and or its associates. Members of the public are expected to practice appropriate etiquette by being quiet, observant, and respectful. Disruptive attendees may be removed from verbally participating. The applicant's attorney and her associates will be given the opportunity to address any comments or questions from the public after the last person from the public has been given the opportunity to speak. The commission feels further information is needed from the applicant. The chair will ask for a motion to continue the public hearing. If a public hearing remains open, the commission is not allowed to make any public comment, discuss any part of the applicant's and or his associates' presentation, or receive any additional information from anyone. If the commission feels the applicant and her associates have answered all questions, have addressed all concerns from the commission and public, the chair will ask for a motion to close public hearing. Staff will then schedule discussion about the application at an upcoming commission meeting, during which time the commission will be asked by the chair on how it wants to proceed. And the commission does have the ability to discuss any application after the close of the public hearing at that same meeting. So this is application 2326, 10 Long Hill Avenue, LLC. At 10 Long Hill Avenue, Assessors Map 117B, Lot 649, in a CB2 zone, petitioning for a planned development district with a 3-story residential building consisting of 19 apartments and on-site parking. This is the continuation of a public hearing. This application was accepted for review on November 8th, 2023. Public hearings were held on February 28th, March 20th, April 17th, and May 15th. No additional documents have been supplied by the applicant since May 15th. So is the applicant present? Please identify
Yes.
yourself for the record and proceed.
So it's Patrick Rose from Rose Tizo and Company, 35 Brentwood Avenue in Fairfield, Connecticut, representing the applicant. The previous public hearing, we had presented the revised building down to 17 units and the revised site showing 34 parking spaces. which is providing 2 per unit on site for parking. We made some changes to the floor plan associated with the unit size on the back units, added some additional common space, a rework room and a lounge. And that we got all of the 1-bedroom apartments down into the same more or less square footage of about 820 square feet. So they're much smaller than they previously were. Believe that we, have satisfied the majority of all of the comments associated with the project. I don't know if Commissioner Parkins and Commissioner Kelly were able to take a look at our previous presentation. If not, I can go through it for them.
No, I watched the video.
You did, okay.
I was caught up. Thank you.
Yeah. So I believe that you're somewhat ready to move forward, but some people, members of the commission weren't available for a vote, so you wanted to hold off. I don't know if there's any other questions that have come up in the meantime that I can answer associated with it.
The only question that comes to mind, discussion that staff, Mr. Rossetti and I have had is we need to verify that this particular site is eligible for PDD. So, Mr. Rossetti, could you comment on that, please?
Sure. As you are all aware, PDDs have a lot of discretion with the commission. Tony had commented that this site was not in the central business district, to which I said I agree. But I think that this could be an appropriate argument for a transitional zone between the commercial activity on Center Street and Antonio's really kind of on the opposite side of Long Hill Avenue, and then all the multifamily residences going up Long Hill Avenue. So that was one point. Then there was another point about acreage. And again, we kind of agreed to disagree about different interpretations, but ultimately we both agreed to leave it up to the board. If the board is comfortable with the zone change, then move forward. If you're not, or if there's another issue that you guys have, then that takes priority.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Tony's question was more regarding the size of the parcel,
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And does that conform?
So if in the central business district, no. But we've already established that it's not in the central business district.
Okay.
In the affordable housing plan, one of the things that we show is a map, and one of the things that we talked about was extending the central business district, and we haven't taken action on that. And that map shows the line going up Long Hill Avenue and coming back down. So
That's true, yeah.
so this is definitely not in the central business district. So it doesn't meet the requirements for that, but it meets the requirements for being outside of the central business district. Is that correct, Mr. Rossetti?
That argument can certainly be made. Yeah.
Okay.
As a transition zone, you're saying as a transition area, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's an appropriate project for that area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right across the street, we have 2, 3 apartment houses.
Yeah, exactly.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I can't see what business, it's probably better than some other things that could go in there.
Mm-hmm.
But the CB.
Better what they have now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
Does this parcel butt right up to the insurance lot? Because when you go by there right now, there's like this big, huge camper, RV that's parked there. Is that part of this parcel? So I'm not
I
sure
think
where
you
the
can-
RV, if it's on this side of that white wall or whatever that is, part of a building, looks like.
Yeah, that's the property line, more or less.
That's the property line. To the left is the parking lot, that brick building, and to the left of that is Goodman. Yeah, that's the Goodman parking lot.
Oh, it
Okay.
is, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So I don't know if that RV is supposed to be parked there. I don't know if they're leasing it out for parking or what. I don't know if it's zone wise, if they're eligible to park such a thing there, but it'd be nice to see this area cleaned up, that's for sure.
Yeah.
For
I mean,
sure.
I do appreciate the applicant's willingness to, you know, to listen to our concerns, to listen to the concerns of the neighbors. I know a lot of the concerns about parking. I think some of the neighbors had some very good ideas, although not the purview of this applicant or us, but to, you know, seek out some sort of permit parking only, you know, options that can help solve their parking woes, but it's not the you know, the responsibility of this developer to do so. So since he's providing parking and most of those houses don't do so for their own tenants,
Mhm.
I don't really have any concerns.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Anything
they modified it quite a bit from the
Mhm.
original proposal.
Commissioner Cristiano, I think the parcel is it appears to be a somewhat isolated stretch right there on the left-hand side as you're heading up. And it seems to be somewhat in disarray as it is. Not sure where it's gonna turn into if left undeveloped. So I think it's a good project. I think there was accommodations. I think what's key, and especially to this area, is the ample parking. I mean, 2 spots per unit is substantial, especially for other developments that have come into the commission so far.
Mhm. Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Ticky. Yeah, I think I agree. I think it is very much in a transitional zone. It is in the downtown. The downtown is a place where we do have apartment developments, and that will certainly continue. And given where it is, apartments are probably the best bet for that piece of land. I think the parking that is an issue, you know, should be addressed by the city. And there were some good ideas that were explained there. So I don't want that to get lost in, if we're moving towards an approval, the city should be mindful of that and think about what are ways in which that people that are living in downtown can have to have a place to park that are living down there. But I do think this probably makes sense for this parcel of land.
Okay,
And just to bring up something that maybe the other people don't want me to bring up is that there was a discussion associated from the police commission of turning Long Hill Avenue into a one-way road, one way or the other. I'm not sure which way, which would potentially add the ability to park more parking on the street.
Interesting.
That hasn't gone anywhere that I know of at this point. It would have to be studied in order for
Yeah.
somebody to, but it wouldn't affect this development specifically.
right.
Well, one of the things that was brought up was the construction workers. So to the extent you possibly can, encourage them to utilize the commuter parking lot up on Bridgeport Avenue
Right.
to avoid taking street parking.
Street parking.
Very appreciated.
Yep. All right, if there isn't any other comments, that I'm gonna have to move to the public portion of the public hearing. And I'll start out with elected officials of the city of Shelton. Anyone who is an elected official would like to comment, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone to be identified. Mr. Rossetti, do you have anybody?
There is no one.
Okay, and then I'll just ask, if there are any members of the public who would like to comment on this application? Please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9. Just a reminder, comments are limited to just the new material that had been posted to the city's website. Actually, there was none, but the applicant did go over briefly some points that had been addressed to because of commission's concerns. Is there anybody there, Mr. Rossetti?
There is not.
Okay, is there a motion to continue or close the public hearing for application 2326?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amato. Is there a second?
Commissioner Cristiano will second that.
Okay, thank you. So on the motion to close the public hearing, made by Commissioner Amato, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano. Commissioner Kelly? Is Commissioner Kelly mute? I'll go on. Commissioner Parkins?
Aye.
Commissioner Amato?
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki.
Aye.
Chair votes
Commissioner Kelly, aye.
very good. Thank you, Commissioner Kelly.
I
Motion to
had it
close
on
the
mute.
public hearing has closed by a vote, has been approved by a vote of 6-0. So how does the commission wish to proceed on this particular application?
I think it's a good project, so I think we should move towards a favorable resolution. That's my opinion.
I
Okay.
also agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, does the commission want to hear something that the staff has put together tonight?
Yeah,
Or would
they've
you like
got it.
to,
Yeah.
Sure.
Move
Sure.
along. Yay.
you've been keeping Mr. Rossetti busy. All right, so Mr. Rossetti, do you have the latest version?
I do. All right. The applicant, 10 Long Hill Avenue LLC, this is for approval of a plan development district and initial site development plan approval, application 2326. The applicant, 10 Long Hill Avenue LLC, represented by Rose Tiso and Company, is proposing a 4-story, 28,000 square foot residential development with 34 on-site parking spaces. The building includes 17 one-bedroom units with 3 deed-restricted affordable units per Connecticut General Statute, Section 8. The site is primarily accessed on Long Hill Avenue and is slim and triangular, with the site moderately rising from its northern boundary adjacent to 2 Long Hill Avenue toward its southerly boundary at the intersection of Long Hill Avenue and High Street. The natural topography along the rear property line from Long Hill Avenue to High Street is steep and is between 40 and 48 feet higher in elevation. The current conditions in the proposed uses includes the use of retaining walls to provide a more level and workable lot space accessible from Long Hill Avenue. Up until 2020, the site contained 3 single-story business and professional office buildings. The buildings were demolished in 2020, and since then, the site has been an eyesore to the downtown community. The commission is familiar with the site, given its location in the downtown area, abutting Center Street with commercial and mixed-use buildings, and Long Hill Avenue with multifamily residences. In addition to the numerous multifamily residences, the following businesses are within a few hundred feet: Goodman Insurance, Puffy's Service Center, Tastes of Joy Chinese Restaurant, Antonia's Pizza, and Shelton Dental Group. The current application includes site plans titled Initial Development Plans 3/30/24, Proposed Residential Development, dated August 23rd, 2021, and last revised April 29th, 2024, prepared by Rose Tiso and Company, LLC, and a revised Statement of Uses and Standards dated April 29th, 2024. The application was accepted for review by the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission, and a duly noticed public hearing was held on February 28th, 2024. The public hearing continued to March 20th, April 17th, May 15th, and June 19th. Public comments expressed raised concern about on-street parking, visitation, and intersection conditions with Long Hill Avenue and Center Street, aesthetics, and neighborhood character. The commission has completed its review of the application materials and notes the following. 1. The present Long Hill Avenue on-street parking conditions are crowded as stated by the public, and the commission expressed concerns about contributing to that issue. There were multiple discussions about unit type and density as they relate to parking ratios, and the applicant submitted multiple floor plan variations with the final version, including a 2-to-1 parking space to bedroom ratio. As Connecticut General Statute, Section 8-2 states, zoning regulations may not require more than 1 parking space for studio and 1-bedroom units. This 2-to-1 ratio provides ample space for residents and their guests. 2. Considering the traffic and parking concerns raised by residents, the commission recommends the neighborhood discuss a permit parking agreement with Shelton PD and one-way traffic routing with the Board of Aldermen Street Committee, the City Engineer's Office, Shelton Police Department, and Shelton Public Works. The applicant is instructed to coordinate an intersection study with the City Engineer's Office to help alleviate existing issues, improve vehicular movability, and increase public safety. A final report or plan will need to be shown with the final site development plans. 3. The commission expressed a desire to have public sidewalks connecting to existing sidewalks along Center Street. continuing in front of the site up Long Hill Avenue. The public sidewalks will need to be shown on final site development plans. 4. The steep topography in the rear of the site raised concerns about the livability of second-floor units in the rear of the building and their lack of sunlight and window egress. The applicant addressed these concerns by locating the fitness center and office into this area. There is only one second-floor unit in the rear of the building on the northern side where there is further separation from the building and slope, providing adequate window spaces and egress. 5. Prior to submission of final site development plans, substantial detail is needed in the following areas: landscaping, lighting, rubbish enclosure, retaining wall features, building materials, building signage, curbing, EV charging, architectural treatments, and revisions to on-site traffic direction. Resolution. Whereas the applicant has submitted a complete application to establish a PDD on a 0.64 acre site located at the corner of 10 Long Hill Avenue, which is currently zoned CB2, and whereas the applicant has submitted initial development plans, a statement of use, and is required to submit final site development plans as required by the Shelton regulations, and whereas the commission has conducted 4 public hearings and is familiar with the site and proposal details, the commission notes the following. 1. Prior to submitting final development plans, compliance and approval with all requirements of the city engineer, Water Pollution Control Authority, Inland Wetlands Fire Marshal, and local traffic authority, if not already obtained, must be supplied. 2. Prior to submitting final plans, all modifications and revisions as needed in response to the items listed above in the findings need to be addressed. 3. No permits for site work related to this project may be issued prior to the approval of final site development plans. Therefore, based on its review of the proposal, its knowledge of the site and general area, and subject to the considerations outlined in the report above, if there is a motion, I will let you guys carry it forward.
Thank you. So can I have a motion to discuss the resolution?
I'll make that motion, Commissioner Matto.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
Commissioner Ticky will second.
Thank you. So on the motion to discuss the resolution made by Commissioner Motto, seconded by Commissioner Ticky, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed by vote 6-0. So I'll open floor for discussion. Is any commissioner have any comments, questions, or concerns about the resolution prepared by Mr. Rossetti?
Just the date on the public hearing continued, I think it says continued to June 19th. I think that needs to be
Oh, that's the
today's
12th.
date.
The 12th,
Yep.
Yeah.
correct.
Yep.
I would just suggest running it through spell check first before
Yeah.
signing up on it.
Exactly.
I know you're not an English major, Alex. You're a
It's
planner.
okay. I can still work.
There's just a couple little words highlighted already for you, so.
Okay, is there any concerns about any of the findings?
No, I'm just, all right, so in this case, the final site development plans would be approved by you, Jenny, probably together with staff, or they'll come back to us again.
Goes back to the commission.
Goes back
Okay.
to
Yeah.
All right.
They have to get WPCA approval first before coming back with final site plans, or no? How's that work? Which process? Cart or horse?
that's, I think the jury may be out on that right now. Ideally, there is an action by WPCA, but if they're not able to obtain that, then we can revisit that.
Because we have to give approval before they can even go to WPCA.
Correct, and that's what this does. This,
Right.
we say, look, we've approved X amount of units here. Please
Right.
proceed, but sometimes things happen.
Oh, haywire.
Okay.
For some reason.
Okay, so that's on them, not on us.
Correct.
But I assume they wouldn't come back with final site plans until they have that approval. I mean, it would seem logical.
Ideally, yes.
Okay, anybody else? All right, well, is the commission ready to move ahead on this? Is there a motion to approve or deny the resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, that's from Commissioner Motto. Is there a second?
Commissioner Cristiano, I'll second that.
Okay, so on the motion to approve the resolution made by Commissioner Motto, seconded by Commissioner Cristiano, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. Okay, so
Thank you.
moving on, you're very welcome. All right, next on the agenda are comments from the chair and subcommittee chairs. I have no comments at this time.
1 second, Madam Chair. We have the public portion.
Did I, oh, I skipped right over that. I'm sorry. Go back a page. So if there's any elected officials of the city of Shelton who would like to comment on an item not on this evening's agenda, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone to be identified. Any public elected officials, city of Shelton, participating remotely would like to comment on any item not on the agenda, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone to be identified. Mr. Rossetti, have anybody?
No officials, but I know there's one person waiting.
Okay, and if you're a member of the public who would like to comment on an item not on this evening's agenda, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature or dial *9 on your phone to be identified. And you have
Tom
someone?
Harvey.
Okay, Mr. Harbinson, please identify yourself for the record.
Sure, thank you. Tom Harbinson, 15 Soundcrest Drive. And I just had a couple items. I've been looking over the planning and zoning regulations that were recodified on April 2024. There was one item, a typing error on section 35.8 subsection D. It says the development may be entitled to a building sites increase of 8%, 5%. It's just a typing error. I think it means to say 5%, both in the word written out and in the number with the percentage symbol.
Mhm.
And I think sites means site apostrophe S.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's-
the particular new recodified were to get the sections in order, the contents of which are being proofread.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
that's definitely something that I'll look into.
Super minor, just happened to come across. But when I was reading that, and reviewing the recodified regulations, I had a question regarding section 35, not a question to be answered, but regarding designed residential developments. The term tract is used many times, and it's not a defined term such as a lot corner, interior lot, or parcel. And the word tract in definition of dictionaries is an area of indefinite extent, typically a large one. So I don't know that the word tract is the best choice for within that. Obviously, if it was approved that way, it was approved that way. But given my experience with the city attorney being very specific regarding a zone versus an area on an application since withdrawn for 390 Shelton Avenue, I think it's important to define what a tract is referring to.
And you're spelling that TRACK?
T-R-A-C-T.
Oh, tract. Yeah, I got
Not
it.
a track like a racetrack, a tract like a amalgamation of area.
Yep. Okay.
Uh,
Anything else?
Of course. I just appreciate listening to your meetings repeatedly. Regarding patios becoming enclosed or more robust, I would suggest looking at Pier 131 on Canal Street and seeing the number of seats created by their patio versus the number of parking spaces provided on site. I know when you do approvals for building areas and how many parking spaces, certainly during COVID, it was understandable for outdoor spaces to allow restaurants to be operating still. But some of these have grown extensively. And I don't know that the parking requirements for the amount of seating areas is still in harmony.
Mhm.
And that's at various places. I use Pier 131 as an example because I do patronize the location.
Mhm.
And then one last one. It was something I'd written, and then Ruth actually brought it up regarding approval from the sewer authority for projects when it's a PDD. And on section 34.6 sub letter B, it says the commission may also solicit the following information for presentation prior to or at the public hearing, and this is for the initial establishment of a PDD. Item B is evidence from the sewer authority that sewers are available to the project for tie-in and that the sewer lines, sewage treatment plant, and related appurtenances have the capacity for the projected volume. So as Alex said, it's a little bit of a gray area. It's not a requirement at the initial site plan approval like you did for Long Hill Avenue tonight. But it is something that you have the option to solicit from for that initial site approval. And certainly before you do a detailed site approval to ensure that the capacities of the sewer treatment system are there for the applicant's proposal. That is all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arvinson.
Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Rossetti, is there anybody else that wishes to address the commission?
No.
No. All right, then I'll move now on to other business. And as I said before, I have no comments right now. Commissioner Motto, you are the subcommittee chair for zoning. Anything from you?
No, but we'll be looking forward to talking about the ADUs, I guess.
Yep. Okay. And Mr. Rossetti, anything from staff?
Just one quick comment, I guess, on the parking ratios for outdoor patio space that Mr. Harbinson brought up. The ball has been moving around on that a lot recently at the state level, with allowing that as of right for restaurants. So I should know, but I don't. We'll look into that and see how we work with existing restaurants and parking requirements. I don't have an answer for that. And I know you said you weren't looking for one. But I don't remember seeing a formula for what we can require or should require, or how we can go about amending our existing ratios for restaurant area to provide for additional seating area in these patios.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, the state can weigh in and make the situation of having parking spaces as of right, but not giving us direction on how to calculate them?
No, so the state, the patio spaces that were adopted during COVID and since then are allowed to continue. And have also allowed restaurants and other food establishments to have outdoor seating and dining as of right. So I believe that's now a state statute. But I'm not sure what mechanisms we have as local zoning to review that patio space and require a restaurant to increase their parking if they already have it existing, and or for new facilities, how do we approach them and how do we count that space? Because if you think about it, some of that space is not always in use all year round. Some people do tent it and put up the faux tent walls and whatever. So that's certainly an interesting topic that we'll have to continue to look at.
Well, if it's certainly enclosed like there was being discussed tonight with one of the restaurants adding the patio, that's actually, if they can fit 30 people out on that patio, it's an all-season patio, that's adding 30, right? That's adding square footage to whatever parking. And I know when I looked at the Cava, and I didn't bring it up at that point, but with Cava, with the patio, there didn't appear to be much parking. Now, granted, with the park, you would hope that people that are working within the complex would, utilize that outdoor space without having to park. But I think that's something we have to look at that particular site plan. is the
Mhm.
parking.
Mhm. Okay. All right, any other?
So are there any, is there any additional information on the regs? You know, during COVID, naturally, the people weren't inside, they were eating outside, so they didn't really require additional parking, right? Or you had to space out more in the restaurant, so it's not like additional parking was required. And so certainly as of right, people became accustomed to eating outdoors, they enjoy doing it, so I can get that as well, but there's got to be some balance between just letting everybody have patios and not having to include it in the square footage of what parking is required.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly. That's a good point. All right, anybody else, Mr. Rossetti? No further comments from you?
Nope.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to other business, item C, proposal of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission to amend, Shelton zoning regulations. It's section 45.6 for accessory dwelling units. First, can I have a motion to accept for review and for staff to set a public hearing?
Commissioner
Commissioner
Kelly will
Parkins
make
will
that
make
motion.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly's making a motion to accept for review and staff setting a public hearing. And is there a second?
I'll second Commissioner
Okay,
Matto.
Mato has a second. So on a roll call vote, Commissioner Cristiano,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Mato.
Aye.
Your vote's aye, motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. As shown on page 26 of the affordable housing plan that we put into effect last year, section 4, subsection 2, one of our recommendations is to increase accessibility of accessory dwelling units. And so staff had asked that the commission start to discuss this. And Mr. Rossetti, you have any other comments you want to share as to why this is before us?
You hit the nail on the head. We've talked about it off and on for quite some time. I'll put together a presentation for you guys during the hearing. If you have any questions ahead of time about the material or the reading, please let me know, and I'll make sure we touch on it during the meeting, and we can hopefully make it a smooth discussion.
Okay, so material that you prepared is a memo dated June 3rd and 3 publications from AARP on accessory dwelling units. To make sure that all members of the commission have that, and that's the material that you would ask us to review before the public hearing. When do you expect the public hearing to be held? We're in June, sometime in July.
July, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
It'll also be online just with everything else.
Right, but we're only having 2 meetings in July, so the second meeting would be our public hearing meeting. Does any commissioner have any questions on what we're doing and the review of the material? Nope, okay. All right, so next item is approval of meeting minutes, and as a couple of commissioners did mention, these the meeting minutes that were on the agenda for approval May 15th and May 22nd are not on the city's website. Without Ms. Castro here, we have no idea as to how that happened. So is there a motion to table minutes approval for May 15th and May 22nd?
Commissioner Parkins will make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Commissioner Kelly will second it.
There were a couple people talking. Who wants the second?
Goes Commissioner Tiki.
Okay,
I did, and Commissioner Kelly. Yeah, whatever works.
okay. All right, so on the motion to table the approval of minutes for May 15th and May 22nd, made by Commissioner Parkins, seconded by Commissioner Tiki. I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Mato,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Cristiano.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The motion is passed by a vote of 6-0. All right, ladies and gentlemen, seeing that there's no other items on the agenda, the chair declares this evening's meeting is adjourned as of 7:48 p.m. Thank you very much.
See you on the 19th or the 26th?
On the 19th, next
19th. Okay.
Wednesday.
We're meeting on the 19th.
Yep, that's the regular
Yeah.
meeting that was on the schedule.
Yeah, okay, great,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Okay, good
Night,
night, everyone.
Good night.